Okay, the prerequisite to mastering your reality. Now, in order for us to understand how we're going to, master our reality, we first have to understand that reality folds from us. As within, so without. As above, so below. This is a reference to the law of correspondence, and the law of correspondence is basically talking about how on all three planes, the spiritual, mental, and physical plane, there has to be correspondence in order for you to, I guess, get what it is that you want. There has to be alignment. So if you didn't understand all of that jargon, it's basically just saying whatever is within your subconscious mind is elucidated onto your external world. It is seen in your life, in your reality. Life unfolds from you. Life unfolds from within, and it unfolds from you. And cool. With this knowledge in mind, we can simply conceptualize the fact that in order for us to master our reality, we must first master ourselves. Now, what is mastery over self? To others, to many of you, because you guys have probably watched all of the, the movies where like, think of those action movies where the main character at first he's a weak, scrawny kid or a weak, scrawny guy who's got no self-discipline or whatever. A major event happens to him, something traumatic, and then in order for him to get his revenge, he has to go and train in the mountains with the monks or go and train with the Chinese Zen master. Zen is Chinese, right? I think so. Anyways, yeah, you get what I'm saying. He goes and trains with this master who teaches him discipline, and then he comes back and he beats all the bad guys. He's gained muscle. He's much calmer in the ways that he thinks. And then he goes out to get his revenge, and he ends up getting his revenge. Okay, and cool. Yeah, that is a realm of self-mastery to a degree, and to a very high degree, to be honest. But yeah, self-mastery. It does not have to be going to the mountains to chill with the monks and meditate for 5 hours straight or 7 hours straight or thingy shave your head bald or pour boiling water on your hand and pretend you don't feel it. Self-mastery at its core is very simple. All it really is the ability to have conscious control over yourself. Now, knowing that self-mastery is the ability to have conscious control over yourself, what can we then, I guess, derive from this statement? What can we then infer? We can infer that a simple way to develop self-mastery is to build self-trust. Now, to build self-trust, it is as simple as treating your word as law. Building self-trust within yourself builds self-mastery, because the more you trust yourself, that trust comes from being able to master yourself and being able to control yourself, basically. And when it comes to mastery, they say mastery is like 10,000 hours of doing something. Yeah, that's cool. I guess it can be that, but I think true mastery is just having conscious control over your mind, because the truth is, like we said before, life unfolds from you. So if you're able to have conscious control over your mind, over your subconscious mind, then you can make what unfolds from you something that you will enjoy. You can make your life something that you enjoy. Now, this is not to say that you can make it so adversity never strikes within your life, because as there is the law of correspondence, there is also the law of rhythm and the law of polarity. And polarity is this simple observation that there are always two poles. There is always good and evil, I guess, yin and yang, darkness, brightness, dull, sharp, loud, quiet, fast, slow, love, hate, fear, confidence, I guess. There is always an opposite. Every single thing has its polar opposite. And the law of rhythm literally talks about how every single thing has a pendulum swing, all right? Every single thing swings from one side of the pole to the other. And by developing self-mastery, you can't really avoid the swing, but you can make sure you are at one side of the pole more than you are the other, the pole that you desire to be at. Now, like I already said, self-mastery, one way to gain self-mastery, to develop more self-mastery, is to simply treat your word as law. Follow through on your own conscious conversational commands, the things that you tell yourself that you're going to do. If you tell yourself you're going to wake up at 7 a.m., you wake up at 7 a.m. If you tell yourself you're going to go to the gym right after you wake up, you go to the gym right after you wake up. If you tell yourself you're going to have 3-4 meals a day, you're going to have 3-4 meals a day. If you tell yourself you're going to have 1 meal a day, you have 1 meal a day. And that is one simple, I guess, way to develop self-mastery and self-trust. Because think about it, your brain, maybe think about it, sorry. Your brain, this is a fact, your brain, your mind has something called a ability to follow through counter. You've probably heard of this before, and it's quite self-explanatory, really. Think about it like there being a number, right? And this number, it starts at 0. Imagine this to be a 0, okay? Now, that 0 increases when you treat your word as law. When you tell yourself you're going to do something and you do it, it increases to 1. And that increase is called and is registered, as ability to follow through. Now, when you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, that 1 goes down to 0. And that 0 can go to -1. Sorry, -1. No, -1. That 0 can go to -1, and that will be registered as an inability to follow through. And your mind is always keeping track. No matter how hard you try to lie to yourself, your mind knows the truth, okay? So the key here is to is to simply just maximize on the ability to follow through. Get as much of those as you can registered, because those will increase your self-trust, which will in turn increase your conviction, which as a whole basically increases the mastery that you have over yourself. And as a result of having mastery over yourself, you have mastery over what? Your life, your reality. Think about it this way. The people who are successful in life are people who their ability to follow through counter is probably through the fucking roof, because they woke up and they designated themselves a system that they would follow through for the rest of their lives, basically, for them to get to a certain point. And now they've got to that point. Now they are making 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month. Now they are they're funding charities, etc. They become the people that they wanted to be. Okay. Now, another way you can develop self-mastery is simply through meditation. Throughout growing up, we have been conditioned to always be moving and to be afraid of the darkness and silence and to dislike silence. We have been conditioned to always be stimulated by something. Whether this stimulation was, I don't know, Cocomelon on the TV, or whether the stimulation was the toys that you'd always play with as a kid, we've been conditioned to always move around and to always intake information and to always just never be present, fully present, and to never give us any type of sensory deprivation in order for us to actually observe the thoughts that we think and actually take the role of the observer that we are, and to keep us constantly distracted. Now, a simple way to develop self-mastery is to combat this conditioning that they've sort of done by meditating. And when I say meditating, I am not talking about controlling your breath. I am talking about this. It is as simple as sitting or laying down in a comfortable position and being completely still. You're going to try and do it, and your body and your mind are going to work in conjunction to make you think that you need to move. How it's going to do this is different for everybody. It might make you feel like there's something you need to itch here. It might make you feel like there's a bug crawling on your face. It might make you feel like there's something crawling into your ear. It might make you feel like, I don't know. It will just do things to make you think, oh, I need to move. I need to open my eyes. I need to move. And the key here is to resist that, because the more you are able to resist that, the more self-trust you have within yourself and the more mastery you have over yourself. And all of these things link, they all intertwine. Okay, now after you've done that, I guess another way to develop self-mastery of yourself is to fast. Now, obviously, this is optional, because for a lot of people, you might be someone who's trying to gain weight, so fasting would actually be detrimental to you, or you might be someone who has a health issue, so fasting would actually be very bad for you. Like I said, so I haven't said this before, so I don't know why I said like I said, but if you are one of these people, you know, do your own due diligence, apply nuance, and do not engage in the activity. Okay, do not engage in the fasting. But fasting is another way to have conscious control of yourself, because as your body tells you, oh, I'm hungry, I need this, I need that, I need this, or whatever, you will begin to realize that you're not actually hungry. You just have the habit of eating. Eating has just become habitual to you, because you've been conditioned to think, oh, breakfast is key. If you don't eat breakfast, you're very unhealthy. You need to eat breakfast. Otherwise, I don't know, you're going to die early. Whatever bullshit they say about breakfast and cereal. Anyways, yeah, that's completely optional, by the way. One thing I do want to make clear is a lot of people within the space will actually try and, oh God, I'm not even, bro. Sorry, just thinking about it is hurting my head. But a lot of people in the space will tell you, if you're not fasting, if you're not doing alkaline cleansing or detoxifying your gut or whatever, or drinking some green juice that's going to detoxify your gut, you're not going to be able to achieve what it is you want. Now, see, this is the bullshit within the space that I'm talking about. This type of stuff is like, bro, how the fuck does that affect my consciousness? The key here is consciousness. It's not anything else. All right. Now, these are 3 ways to develop self-mastery, and yeah, that's basically really it. Okay, cool. You know what? Here's another one. Here is another one. I was originally planning to just say these 3 ones, but I feel like I'm gonna add some more. Mastery over your emotions, and what I mean by this is not feeling emotions, but allowing yourself to feel them fully by gaining an understanding of what emotions really are. Emotions are just indicators that you're not living the desired life that you want to live. Okay, that is all an emotion is an indicator of. Because think about it this way: all of the things that you want in life, you don't really want the things, you want the emotion the things are going to bring you. This water, the reason why I want to drink this water is because I want to feel satisfied. I want to feel hydrated. Okay. Actually, I could actually need some of that. 1 second. Pardon me. Like I said, you want to feel satisfied. Now I feel hydrated. Anyway, knowing this, we can sort of reverse engineer the process, but that is going on to a different thing. You get me? Anyways, like I said, emotions are just indicators that you're not living the desired life that you want to live. So a simple thing you can do to, I guess, gain a better understanding of emotions is to just classify it as emotional energy, regardless of whether the emotion is positive or negative. Because the truth is, the emotions you feel are all kind of the same thing. They're all the same energy, but the label that you apply to that energy is different based upon the circumstance that occurs for that energy to be generated. If the circumstance is something that you would apply a negative label to, you apply a negative label to the emotion. If the circumstance is positive, you apply a positive label to the emotion. So, therefore, the emotion isn't bad or good. The emotion simply is. That is the realization that you must have. And the key here is just to feel the emotion. Sit on your bed or lay on a chair and just relax. Relax. Put your hand on your stomach or wherever you feel the emotion the most, and just put your hand on there. Relax, breathe. Relax and just breathe. And when I say just breathe, I don't mean focus on your breath. Just relax, okay? Just relax, feel the emotion as much as you can. Try and figure out where you're feeling it within your body and just feel it as much as you can until you can't feel it anymore, until you reach that point of neutrality, and then you can continue on with your day. Or you can shift to a positive state by then changing or shifting the label, changing or shifting the circumstance that caused for that emotion or energy to be generated. You can either shift it by completely changing the circumstances, abusing the fact that your mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality, or you can just simply change your focus, what you're focusing on about the circumstance. You can change your perception of the circumstance. You can change your, not your perception, you can change, your perception as well. You can change your perspective of the circumstance, okay? Now, that is really all it is when it comes to self-mastery. And yeah, just make sure you're maximizing out you're repping out them ability to follow throughs, okay? And also, when you have an inability to follow through, do not deep it too much. Do not tell yourself, oh, I'm a fucking dickhead, I'm a bum, I'm a bitch, why am I don't go down that route, because when you go down that route, it literally just perpetuates the idea of you gaining the it literally just perpetuates the likelihood of you having the identity of someone who views themselves that way and then acts that way. You cannot take the correct action while in the wrong state of consciousness, while in the wrong frequency. You cannot take an action in the realm of confidence while in the state of, what's the opposite of confidence? Lack of self-confidence. You cannot take an action in the realm of wealth while in the mental state of consciousness, in the mental frequency, in the frequency of poverty. Okay? And wow, this video is really fucking short. But hey, man, it's not about the length of the video, it is about the value that is provided. Okay? So that is all for today. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you guys for taking the video in. And if you haven't taken notes, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say this at the end of every single video. If you haven't taken notes, go back, watch this video again and take some notes. And that is it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.